All right, so to start this off today, I want to talk about a word that we use every day, and it means something really specific in geometry. And the word is between. Okay, so when we are using the word between in geometry, we want to be really specific because I want to talk about points that are between each other. And what does that really mean? Obviously, if I had something like, I'll just draw you a picture here. If I had this and I had points here, A, B, and C. Certainly, we all know that B is between A and C, right? Easy peasy. But what if I asked you about, what if I put like a point D here? Is D still between A and C? What if I put a point E way down here? Is that still between A and C? I don't know, like where's the cutoff, right? So we need to be really specific when we're using this word between, because I want to know whether it is or isn't. So here's how we define it in geometry. So when we say a point is between two others, it is assumed the 3 points are collinear. So if my 3 points have to be collinear, like if I look back up here at A, B, and C, they are collinear. So yeah, it's very clear to me that B is between A and C, like there's no question. Now, if I'm talking about D, and I want to know if D is between A and C, well, now those 3 points are not collinear, so it's not as clear. I don't really know what the answer is. Same thing with A, E, and C. They're not collinear. So do you say it's between? Is that not between? I don't know. So for our purposes, we're saying no, it's not between. Because if a point is going to be between two others, it has to be on the same line. Okay? So D is not between A and C, nor is point E. B, yeah, that's fine because it literally is in between A and C on the same line. Okay, so we can add that. Therefore, B is between A and C, but D and E are not. Okay, so we are being very specific with our usage of the word between. They have to be collinear in order for a point to be between the other two. Okay, so far so good? All right, so let's try a problem now. Let's see if we can figure this one out. So let me write it out and we'll see if we can work our way through. So in this problem, X, Y, and Z are collinear. So I have 3 points and I know that they are all in fact on the same line. Okay, I don't know what order they're in. They may not necessarily show up in alphabetical order, right? I just know that I have these 3 points and they are all on the same line. Okay, so let me give you some more. And let's say that the segment XZ is 12 and segment XY is 9 and the segment YZ is 3. Determine which of the 3 points is between the other two. I'm going to move this all the way up. Okay, so let's sort of break this down, see what we have. I have 3 points that I know are on the same line. I have no idea what order they're in. Maybe it goes X, Y, Z. Maybe it goes Y, Z, X. I have no idea. What I do have are some values. I know XZ is 12, XY is 9, YZ is 3. Great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and draw this. Now, when you have a diagram, if there's a point X in that diagram, there's only one point X in the diagram. You can't have 2 point X's in the same diagram. That wouldn't make any sense. So where you see some of these things, like I have a segment XZ and I also have an XY, those X's are that's the same X. Okay, so let's see if I can kind of sketch this out. I might go ahead and just start with the first one they gave me, XZ. Okay, so I know I have a segment XZ. Here's X, here's Z, and I know that it's 12 units long, the whole thing. Okay, so I'll do this. This whole length is 12. Okay, great. I've got that. Now it's telling me that XY is 9. So please watch this because this is where things can get a little weird, right? XY. So XY could be, maybe Y is right about here. I'm going to put a question mark because I don't know if it's there. But that's a possibility. There's XY, and that could be length 9. That's true. But what if instead Y went the other way? What if it was X and then Y was somewhere over here? That would still give me an XY that's 9 units long. Let me put my question mark. I don't know which of these two it is yet. Right? They're both perfectly possible. I would still have an XZ that's 12 units long, and then I just need an XY that's 9 units long. So it could be this one or it could be this one. I don't know yet. But if I look at the third bit of information, it tells me that YZ has to be 3. So one of these two scenarios makes sense and one of them doesn't. If Y really is over here, this blue Y, that means YZ from Y all the way to Z, that's going to be 9 and then another 12. That would be a length of 21. And according to this, that is not the value of YZ. It's not 21 at all. So that tells me that the blue option doesn't make sense. That can't be right. So Y is not over here. It must be here where the red is. And then you can see, yes, it fits. If this is 9 and the whole thing's 12, then yeah, that would absolutely leave that YZ to be 3. That works out. So I'm going to get rid of the question mark here because now I know it's definitely there. Does that make sense? Okay. So now I can answer the question. The question is, which of the 3 points is between the other two? So what's my answer? Someone shout it out. Okay, I'll call on you. Okay, the question is, which of the points is between the other two? Evan.
Yes.
Which of the which point is in between the other two in this example?
Y.
Yes. Y is the one that is between the other two, and hence the answer to my question. Y. All right, so let's put that. y is between, oh, let's spell between right, x and z. All right, let's try another one. So same scenario, I still have x, y, and z. Let's see if I can fit in here. X, y, and z still collinear. But now let's try the following. XY is going to be 20. YZ is going to be 12. And XZ is going to be 32. All right, you try this. See if you can draw it. Maybe I'll see if I can. I'll get the last example up here too at the same time so you can see how we did it. So see if you can draw this scenario with these values holding. So you need XY to be 20, YZ 12, XZ 32. And see if you can figure out which point is in between the other two. Please feel free to send me your answer when you're done. Which of the three, X, Y, or Z, is the one that's between the others? Just trying to make those a little darker. I do want to point out that between doesn't necessarily mean in the middle, right? It could be anywhere in between. I guess I actually never realized that. I'm a middle child, but I'm not literally in the middle. Like in terms of age. I mean, I was born somewhere in between my older sister and my younger brother, right? So it doesn't have to be exactly in the middle, but we say middle child. Why isn't it between child? I don't know. Weird, right? Zoe has it right. Send me your answers. If you're in class and you want to shout it out, you can. Okay, let's give this a shot here. So I'm going to start off with XY being 20. I have no idea what the rest looks like, but I know I have an X and a Y, and I know that its distance is 20. All right, got it. YZ is going to be 12. So this is where I have two options. Either it's YZ, and that's 12, or this backtracks and it'll be somewhere over here. Oh, I should do that in a different color. Hold on. I wonder if I draw over this, will it be purple? Kind of. Oh, cool. All right. Yeah, that's purplish. So Z could also be here, and that would have this YZ being 12. So there's my two options. I have the red and the blue. And so how do I know which one is right? I defer to this third piece of information. XZ has to be 32. So if XZ is going to be 32, this one wouldn't make any sense because that would only be 8, right? I know that this is 20. So if this were going to be 12, that would leave XZ to be 8, and that's not what it is. So the blue one doesn't work out here. But the red one does, because you can see from X all the way to Z, it really is 32. So now I can look and I can see who's in the middle, and it just so happens to be Y again. That is obviously not always going to be the case, right? So don't just think, oh, it's just alphabetical. It's not, I promise. It so easily could have, right? If I had just changed this number to an 8, then Z would have been in the middle. So in this case, though, it just so happens to be Y. y is between x and z. Okay, I'm going to do, I have one more, and then I'm going to share something with you, but I got to flip the page. So hopefully you got what you need. Okay, one more. X, Y, Z, still collinear. Let's try this one. XZ is going to be 19. ZY is going to be 10. And XY is going to be 29. All right, same thing. Figure out which of the 3 points is between the other two. I'll give you a hint on this one. It's not Y. It's not Y this time. Feel free to send me your answers. If you get it in class, call it out. Okay, if you said Z, you are correct. How? What? All right, let's try it. You have XZ is 19. All right, now I have ZY, that's going to be 10. So maybe Y is over here, and there's ZY, and maybe that's 10. I don't know. My other option is that Y is in here, and ZY would be 10. Right? So I have either the red option or the blue option, so I defer to the third bit of information. XY is 29. Okay, so if X all the way to Y is going to be 29, it's got to be the blue one, because this would only have an XY of 9, not 29. So the red can't be right. It's got to be the blue. So who's in between? This time it's Z. All right, so there is a there are shortcuts to this. So I wonder if anybody has found a shortcut here without me just telling you what the shortcut is. Maybe I won't tell you unless you come up with it. Yeah, if someone in the class comes up with it, I'll confirm it, or I'll say, no, that's not what works. There is a shortcut where you don't even have to draw it. You can just look at the question and you can know the answer in like 2 seconds. So see if you can figure out a way. Look at this one and look at maybe should I put the other two back on? Hopefully you have this one. I'll put the other two back up. See if you can find a way.
So like if you look at the first two answers, you see that there's y like in the front and there's y on the second.
There's y on the say that again.
So like if you look at the one that's like the one we did before, the one we just did, well x and y equals 20. Right.
Oh, this one.
Yeah. So if you look at it says xy and then there's yz and then xz. So we found out that it was y because maybe it's like the xy and then it's always like yz. It's like always the variable before the I don't know how to explain it.
Oh, so it's always whatever letter just is right there.
Yeah, and then if you look at the second one, there's the y is always in front of that one. Because if you look at the pattern of the next one over, that's the same way.
So I think that might just be coincidence. Let me see. Yeah, because see, in the first one, it actually doesn't work out. Because that first, right, that one would have been a Z. Good try, but that one, you're really close to what would work, though. It's not necessarily the position of the letters, but there is something going on. And it should work with all of them, right? So whichever one you're looking at, there is a way to figure out who's going to be in between the other two without even having to draw it. And it does have to do with just looking at these values. So come up with oh, let me see. There's one in the chat. Yes. So Zoe's got a way that will work. So here's what she says. And let's see if she's right for the first one, then we'll try it on the others. So she's saying take the segment that's the biggest one, and the number that's not in it is going to be the one that's in the middle. Doesn't that make sense? Because the biggest segment, those two have to be the endpoints. So let's look. So I have 12, 9, and 3. So 12 is my biggest one. So that means X and Z have to be on the ends of my final diagram. That means Y must be in the middle. Does that make sense? And that's true. That is how it worked. Look at what we ended up with. X and Z were on the ends. So Y's got to be in the middle. Let's see if it's true for this next one. So this time, look at my 3. I had 20, 12, and 32. 32 is definitely the biggest. So X and Z, again, have to be on my ends. That means Y's got to be in the middle. Okay, let's see if it holds for the third one. Okay, so I have my 3, 19, 10, and 29. So 29 is the biggest of the 3. That means X and Y are the endpoints. So Z has to be in the middle. Yes, that totally works. So you just got to, so it doesn't necessarily, because remember, I can give these to you in any order I want. So I don't want you to just always go to the third one. It doesn't matter. I could mix these 3 up. It doesn't matter. You just want to look at the numbers and look for who's the biggest, in this case 29, and then the letter that's not in there has to be the one that's in the middle because these are the ends. So we can add this in words as best I can. So shortcut. Find the largest of the 3 segments given. The letter, actually, let's just say those 2 letters must be the endpoints. So the letter that's not there, the letter that's missing, has to be the one between them. So if you are paying attention and with me, and you understand what we're talking about here, you can do any problem like this so fast. It's never a bad idea to draw it out and just double check yourself, but watch, I'll make one up. What if you did something like, try it. So this I'm totally just making off the top of my head. So I have 3 of them. There would be an XY, a YZ, and an XZ. So let's make the 3 numbers. How about you're 10, you're 30, you're 20. We should just be able to look at this and you can tell me right now who's got to be in the middle.
X.
Yes, that's it. See how fast? Those people that are not paying attention to us, they're going to have no idea how to do this. They're not going to know the shortcut. I don't know what to tell them. Pay attention, I guess. I don't know. But yes, absolutely, X is going to be the one in the middle. So I just find my largest of the 3, which is 30. These are the endpoints, Y and Z. So X has to be in the middle. Yes, yes, yes. X. I keep saying in the middle. I don't mean that. X is between Y and Z. That's what I mean. Because middle literally means halfway in between the 2, and I have no idea if that's the case. Actually, I do know if that's the case or not because I have measurements right here, and it's definitely not literally in the middle, but it is between. Okay, good. So the next thing I want to talk about really quickly is sort of if I give you some measurements of segments, can you find other segments? Let's try it. I'm going to draw you a number line here. Well, not really a number line. I'm just going to draw you a line and put some letters on it. All right, let's try this. If I said if AB equals 10 and BC equals 15, what is the measure of AC? Take a moment and see if you can figure this one out. If AB is 10 and BC is 15, I want to know what AC is. You can definitely do this one. If it's helpful for you to draw it, then draw it. By the way, you could do this without me even giving you this picture, right? You don't need it. You could just draw yourself an AB. Oh, no, I would at least have to tell you who's in the middle. I keep saying middle. I mean between. Yeah, this one's just 25. If AB is going to be 10, let me switch to marker here. AB is 10 and BC is 15, and I'm trying to find AC. Well, yeah, that's just makes sense. I'm going to add those 2 together. 25 totally makes sense here. All right, let's try another one. What if BD were 12 and CD were 3, what is BC? I'm going to erase this up here from the last problem because now it's new numbers. Oh, this does not erase well at all. Just see if my finger works better. All right, try that. Yes. Oh, good. I'm so glad. Yeah, it's just going to be 9, right? So if you're not given a picture, by the way, just draw yourself one. But in this case, BD is 12. So that means I'm going from here all the way to here. And I know that that value is going to be 12. Then it tells me that CD is 3. So this little piece has to be 3. And what am I looking for? BC. So in this case, I'm going to have to subtract. I'm going to have to do 12 minus 3. So sometimes I add and sometimes I subtract. I know kids get very, you know, they want to know, well, am I adding or am I subtracting? Well, it's going to depend on the situation. So you got to look at what you're given, what information you have, and figure out if you need to add or subtract. So in this case, I'm subtracting because I know the whole thing is 12. This piece is 3. So I want what's left over, 9 in this case. Okay, does that make sense? So far, so good? All right, so you guys do have homework. I'm done with the notes, I think, right? Was that everything I needed? Yes. So I am going to pull up your homework. It's on Delta tonight. So let me just grab that super fast and I'll show you a couple of them. Get this camera out of my face. All right, we are going to be looking for homework 7. Should be live for you already. I see mine here. All right, so you'll see that you have a bunch of them that I made. So remember, those are the ones you really only get 2 shots at it. And then this one at the bottom, though, that is one of the computer generated ones. So those you can, you know, keep doing them if you need to. So real quick, let's just take a look and let's see what we got. All right, so here, this is just, these are the ones I'm telling you, you can do super fast if you know our shortcut. If you don't, you're going to have to try and figure this out, and you could draw it out. But we know the shortcut, so I don't have to draw it out if I don't want to. It's not a bad idea to double check, but I know I'm just going to look at the biggest one. In this case is 17, and these A and C must be the endpoints. So who's got to be in the middle? It's got to be B. So I'll just choose in the drop-down menu the one that I want. Okay, so this should be super fast, hopefully. And I think there's a bunch like that. Yeah, so even, so I tried to get trickier and like throw some decimals in there. So what? It still works the same way. Just find the biggest one, and the letter that's not in there has to be the one in the middle. Okay, and then let me just show you, I think down here. Yeah, so this is just like what we were just trying. If FG is 9, let's see, FG is right here. That's going to be 9. And then I have EF being 6. So EF right here is 6. They want to know EG, so the whole thing. So in this case, I'm adding those 2 numbers together. So I would get a 15 in this case. Okay, and then let's just do 1 or 2 for the from this bottom one here. Okay, point B is on line segment AC. So that's their way of telling you that B is between A and C. So what you might want to do, since they didn't give you a picture, just draw your own. So here, I know I have segment AC, and then B is somewhere on this. It doesn't even matter where you put it. It literally doesn't matter. Pick anywhere and put B. All right, now let me fill in what they gave me. BC is 7, AC is 11. So that means this whole thing is 11. I'm trying to find AB. So am I adding here or am I subtracting? Let me call on someone. Am I adding here or subtracting? Not here. Oh, what'd you say?
Subtracting.
Thank you. And my answer would be?
Four.
You got it. So I'm just going to pop in a 4 here for AB, and that's all I need. Okay, so I think there's 5 of those that you have to do. But yeah, it should be pretty short. Let me erase this. Let me know if you have any troubles. But please, everybody, hop on over to Delta and get started on that if you haven't already. Oh, and let me stop the recording.